are the assistant manager of an appliance store. Next month you will order 2 types of stereo systems. From model A, you expect a profit of $40 and your cost is $300. From model B, you expect a profit of $60 and your cost is $400. You hope to have a profit of at least $4,800 and you are planning on selling at least 100 stereos. How many of each type of stereo should you order to minimize your cost?
All right, we want to minimize cost. So let's name our variables first, right? So problem 5 from last night's homework, the last of the problems. And if you haven't done it, you're doing it on your sheet of paper, much like I'm doing this, with a pencil in your hand. You weren't here, so make sure. All right. What is X going to be? I'm gonna start off with number of what? A's, right? I'll say model A's. So how many types of model A are we making? All right. What are we going to say for Y? Number of, right? Model, and we'll say A's and B's. That's kind of easy, right? The easiest thing to go to right here is the objective function. And usually in these, you're trying to maximize profit or minimize cost. It's one of those. And in this case, your last sentence says you want to do what? Minimize cost. So over here, making these appliances, right? Making these appliances costs you money. Whether you make money on them in the future or not, BK, whether that happens or not, they cost you money originally, right? So mod C is the cost. What did you put for cost?
Like for each one.
Yeah, for each one.
I put $40 for one, and then 60 for the other.
Well, he's saying, hey, Model A costs you how much? 300. All right. So 300 X plus the cost of the other model is 400 Y, right? These are our costs, 400 Y. So is this going to be a constraint at all? No. That is just our objective function, how we minimize our costs once we find out our constraints and see what feasible region exists. Our constraint has to do with limitations, right? You stick a limitation on something, you can't go beyond it, right? For instance, you have to sell a certain amount of stereos. There's no reason keeping these stereos, right? So what does it say about selling stereos? Yes.
X plus Y must be or less than 4,000.
Less than, so let's go there. We've got X
4,800
plus Y and just straight stereos. Not money, just straight stereos. What do you guys think?
Greater than or equal to 4,800.
100.
Greater than or equal to 100? Let's see, is that true? We've got to sell at least 100 stereos. Is greater than or equal to 100. All right? So at least that much. All right? There's another constraint. There's another thing that we have to do. It says you have to have or you hope to have a profit of at least 4,800. Right? So I need to make profit or there's no reason to sell these stereos. All right? They'll take them off the market. We won't be able to get them anymore. They'll put them on the clearance shelf. Mr. Burkett will go buy them for half the price and bring them home and never be able to fix the thing. So my profit has to be 4,800 or greater, right? So how do I write this so that my profit is 4,800 from these? Yes, sir.
Wait, wouldn't it be the other way around? Oh wait, never mind. You're right. Just go.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Amen. How do I do it, sir?
340 X plus 460 Y.
I really like what Amen just did. All right. In this situation, they've actually accounted for that. You're telling me how much I have to sell them for. Do you agree? He's saying, hey, you have to sell it for $340. If it costs $300, we make $40. You have to sell it for $340. We're talking straight profit here. So instead of adding the 300, I'll say 40x plus what? 60y. All right. Are there any more constraints on that? None whatsoever. There are no constraints. So what I'm going to do is this. We're going to solve each one of these for y. This one is going to be y is greater than or equal to what? Negative x plus 100. There's one of them, right? I'm going to subtract 40x, and I'm going to get 60y is greater than or equal to negative 40x plus 4,800. And then I'm going to do what? Divide by 60. this entire thing by 60, we get y is greater than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus, how many times is it going to that? 80? Oh, almost 80, right? Oh, it is 80 actually. 80. Nicely done. All right. Now, does that make sense to you? All right, so we have two constraints. I'm going to pause this for a bit while we set it. We have a graph set up, right? And we've got our two equations, our two constraints. This one has a y-intercept of 100. So if I go over here and mark it 100, right? It's also got a slope of what?
Negative.
Negative 1, which is down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. I'm actually going to notice that it's going to hit at 100 down here as well. And I can draw a line with a y-intercept of 100 and an x-intercept of 100. Do I shade up or down from this? Is it up? Because it says greater than. And there's lots of ways. One method, which I'll show right now, is just to use a color, right? So I'll have green go above this line. And you don't have to, you can just point an arrow, but I'll say everything above this line is green. Alright. The other one has a y-intercept of 80. And it's got a slope of,
Negative 2/3.
so I'm going to do a few. Negative 2, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, 1, 2, 3, down 2 over 1, 2, 3, down 2 over 1, 2, 3. This one crosses at 120, so from 80 to 120. And do I shade up or down from this?
Shade up.
Up, because it says greater than. So here I am shading up, right, from that line. And your feasible region, and it's really hard to see this red in here, so let me like make this darker, right? Your feasible region is everything with both colors. It's actually going to lay on top of both of these lines until you get to this vertice right here, and then it's going to go with the top line. It's all of that. You'll notice this is a very unique feasible region. Does it have a top? No, it goes up forever. Alright? And I'm going to go ahead and there's vertice A right there. There's, how many other vertices are there for this region that we see? 2. I'm going to put one right here, right? That one right there, and it might be in the wrong spot to tell you the truth. That one right there is vertice B. And this one right here is vertice C. There they are. Alright. So I'm going to scoot this up a little bit, and 2 of them are really easy. My graph looks to be a little bit off with B. Oh, yes ma'am.
So, you only shade the region where they cross together, right?
Yes, you only shade the region where they're both of those include. So both the constraints
So then,
include that region.
If you shade up on both of them, wouldn't you, like, wouldn't they never cross then?
Well, you see, this area right here has green in it, but no red. This area here has red in it, but no green, right? And since you're going up, once you get above both lines, everything above both lines is red and green, and that would be your feasible region. Is that okay with everybody? I'm going to come over here, and what is A? What's point A?
100.
So is it 0, 100, or 0, 100? All right. And point B, I'm going to come back to. I'm going to come back to point B. What's point C?
Point B is 60, 40.
120, 0. And you know what? Someone drew a better line for me, because she's right. It is 60, 40. And if you were more exact than I was, it's going to cross right there at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 60, 40. Nice job. If I didn't know point B, could I use systems to solve for it? I could. I could just set both equations up and find out where they cross. All right. When you do this, you plug them into this constraint. So you plug your x value in here and your y value in there. So if I plug 100 in for my y, right, this one's going to be equal to
40,000.
40,000. All right. If I plug, will someone do this one? I think that's probably the answer. If I plug 60 in and then 40 in,
34,000.
Is it 34,000? You're right, 34,000. Maybe that's not the answer, maybe this one is, we'll find out. If I plug 120 in here and 0 in here, what do I get?
You get
36,000.
Did you say 36?
36,400.
36,000. Now in this question, were we trying to minimize or maximize? Minimize. Which one is it, A, B, or C?
B.
B is the min, with 60 A's, whatever an A is, and stereo system, and 40 E's. That's it. Jace, can you pause that now?